Let's enjoy the Windy City. You won't find many skylines that can rival this one. Chicago, Illinois, one of the great American cities, stretching for 25 miles along the southern tip of Lake Michigan. This is the home of the blues, deep dish pizza, gangsters, and those lovable Chicago Cubs, who play baseball in one of the last remaining original ballparks, Wrigley Field.
Go Cubs!
I know this city pretty well. I lived and worked here for 15 years. In fact, I worked 2 years right here in Chicago Traffic Court along the Chicago River as a young prosecutor. This city has a rich urban feel and is a wonderful place to visit on an RV adventure. But like we mentioned before in other urban visits, you might want to park the RV outside of town and use the excellent public transportation. The city of Chicago is known for its fabulous architecture, and here's a great way to see all the buildings on board the architectural river cruise.
In an hour and a half, you can see and really absorb more about why the city is here, I think, and what goes on in the city, because there's so much development on the river.
The 90-minute river cruise places you literally at the feet of over 100 skyscrapers, designed or inspired by the modernists of the past century.
Now the rocket ship shape to the right of the Amico Tower with the spire on top is the Prudential 2 building, and of course that was inspired by the Chrysler building in New York City.
The Chicago River is a perfect waterway for the cruise, offering its own history and perspective of the magnificent buildings that rise from the river banks.
I can't think of any way that you could see Chicago more quickly, and the river is really kind of our avenue right in the middle of the city, and it just gives you a wide open view.
You'll pass by the Gothic Tribune Tower, the beautiful Wrigley Building, and the distinctive Marina Towers, looking like two giant corn cobs on the water's edge. David O. and his family were among the many guests enjoying the river cruise. And you're also RVers.
Yes, we are, for a few years.
Yeah, and how do you like that?
Oh, I love it. I'm on a second RV. I got a Weekend Warrior, a toy box.
And you saw us because you watch RV Today.
That's right, every week. And I recognized your face, and I was on the boat, and I told my wife, and I said, hey, I know that guy.
Excellent. Well, thanks for watching, and now you're going to be on it.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Chicago is also synonymous with the gangster era of the 20s and 30s. You can explore this dark side of the city's history with the Untouchables Tour, a black bus that visits many of the infamous neighborhoods around town.
Yeah, all the neighborhoods, the bad neighborhoods.
Well, the bad neighborhoods. What happened in the bad neighborhoods?
Guys got shot, they got killed.
Yeah?
Yeah, running beer and booze and stuff and whatnot. It's against the law.
What vintage are we talking? What years were those?
1920s, 1920 till what? December 33, right? Is that recall?
33, yeah. So a lot of stuff going on in Chicago in those years, huh?
The best was when the town was really hopping then,
Yeah.
Now it's nice. It's a nice town now,
But nice is not necessarily interesting. Back then it was interesting.
And nice was interesting. Back then it was really interesting there. Yep, exactly.
A lot of gals have, less than stellar reputation. About 10,000 of them on the south side alone. Yeah, so, there's a lot of action going on.
Sure, and I noticed some bullet holes in the side of the bus, so that was happening back then too, right?
Yeah, we had a little problem the other day, but I don't really want to discuss that,
Here's another great place to explore in Chicago, Navy Pier, where you can ride the giant Ferris wheel and get this nice look at the Chicago skyline. A redevelopment project in the early 90s has turned Navy Pier from an eyesore into a huge tourist hit, with over 7 million people visiting the pier each year. You'll find an amusement park, restaurants, a children's museum, and concert venues along the pier. Chicago is also blessed with a wonderful park right in the middle of the city. This is beautiful Lincoln Park on the north side of the city, where you can enjoy the free Lincoln Park Zoo or take a nice boat ride on the pond on a sunny afternoon. The Lincoln Park Zoo is free and a great family activity, along with the farm in the park. The best time to visit Chicago is late September or early October, when you'll find perfect days like this. But by late October, the first Arctic blast can come through and introduce winter to Chicago. All right, here's something we didn't expect. RVing at the Hard Rock here in Chicago with a beautiful Airstream vintage trailer.
It's an ingenious idea. We refer to it as the silver bullet, of course.
Sure.
Well, people just walk up and go straight to the bullet. The top flips right open. It's just packed with T-shirts and pins and other sort of memorabilia.
Yeah, well, it looks great with the logo on the side of it, too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm guessing it attracts a lot of attention out here then.
Definitely. Plus, it's silver, of course, so you can't miss it walking down the street.
And when you're in Chicago, you gotta have pizza. Chicago deep dish pizza. And this is where it was invented, at Pizzeria Uno's, back in 1943. That is real Chicago deep dish pizza right there. What do you think of this pizza?
Oh, this is great. Chicago style deep dish pizza is just not even comparable. We have nothing like this in Texas, so.
Unlike Texas. No pizza in Texas?
There is, but it's like Pizza Hut, Domino's Pizza.
Chicago is filled with great restaurants, like Harry Carey's downtown. And for something more casual, you can check out the Billy Goat Tavern under Michigan Avenue, known for its cheeseburgers, made famous by John Belushi on Saturday Night Live. After the food, you need to sample the music of Chicago, and that starts with the blues. The Chicago Blues Exchange was opened downtown to showcase the blues in a combination art gallery and blues club.
This is a fabulous place. It's free to the public, and what we do is we really showcase Chicago as the home, the world capital of the blues.
One of the interesting features here at the Chicago Blues Exchange, you get to follow the path of the blues right here on the floor, from the Deep South all the way up to the city of Chicago. I haven't heard an RVing blues tune, although I'm sure there are plenty of RVing topics that could be covered in the blues, like a cracked holding tank or a bad water pump. There is plenty of great RVing territory to the north of Chicago in the Chain of Lakes district, and further north in Wisconsin at the Wisconsin Dells.
We're a Good Sam Park, so we give the discount, and we draw a lot of the older people, and we also draw a lot more younger people are starting to become Good Sam members and getting bigger units.
Kathy, you're mentioning the size of your sites here, and this is a typical site, and boy, this is really expansive here.
Well, it actually, we have many others that are much larger than this one, but we did expand this one 10 feet because the units are getting so much larger these days.
We'll show you more of the Dells next week. It's only a 3-hour drive from that great city of Chicago, Illinois.